What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Zebec today, ZBCN. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. It is the 4th day of October. Here we are with about 8 hours left in the day, sitting here at $0.00417 right now. Down a little bit on the day, and that's fine. Consolidating, waiting, doing your thing. We are inevitably going to break out. I do expect this to perform a lot like a W should. You've got this W formation going on, and typically, again, with W patterns, what you would expect is that the first leg here is slower than the second leg, right? The second leg will likely move the same distance and greater, but in a shorter amount of time. So a very robust move is coming along. I'm not worried about the fact that we're down 1.6% on a Saturday, right? The weekends are typically not for trading, not for moving the price, but sometimes they are. In fact, let's see, wasn't there? Yeah, right here, Sunday moved up. That was like Saturday and Sunday was actually the beginning of this move up here. What about over here? We had a nice, right? Saturday right here was actually a really big day. That was a 37% day right there on Saturday. Sometimes they definitely do come to life over the weekend, especially for altcoins. But looking at this on the short term, looking at the 1 hour time frame here, I think we found our low. That might be it. You could go lower, a little bit lower, and if you do, that's fine. Maybe you do go lower because you do have this kind of double top look here relative to the 1 hour, right? Nothing crazy. Yeah, come down to 0.0041. Go down as low as 0.0039 or 38. You're fine. I don't know if you go that low, but I'm just saying you could go that low and you're fine. RSI looks bullish overall, if we're being fair. Stochastics look bearish, and the MACD bullish with a little bit of a bearish hint to it. A little bit of a bearish hint. 4 hour time frame does look bullish on the RSI. Stochastics are weird, and the MACD is also neutral with a bullish tilt to it. So I do believe that over the coming days you will continue to grow, but as far as the coming hours, sure, you can go down. And if you take out these lows here, which those lows are at about 0.004, if we take out those lows, who cares? It's not a big deal. You'll still hold these lows up, you'll have higher lows, and you'll be moving up higher nonetheless. So don't be worried about what happens today or even tomorrow, but the next week I would expect we see some voluptuous price action taking place. We're looking at the RSI here, and we are in a very neutral posturing, but that's okay. Overall, you're very bullish, and lately you've been kind of volatile, right? Oversold, overbought, oversold, overbought, oversold. Now you're neutral. You were living below the 50 for a little bit. Now you're just kind of going between it, right? Very neutral readings here. You broke out of your downtrend. Now you have a neutral shift. You're probably shifting into an uptrend. Before you know it, you'll be moving higher. We are finding resistance here where we found resistance before. So again, a couple of days of down. If we come to the 50, who cares? Even if we go to the 40, who cares? Go lower. Do your thing. It's not a problem. But in no time at all, and when you do decide to start moving up, I wouldn't be surprised if we picked up the pace a little bit, right? These days here where you're moving up 1% a day, 2% a day, it's cute, it's nice, but once you get above this price here, once you get above about 0.0046, you're going to pick up the pace a lot. You're going to see this thing really start to launch. And at that point, you're going to be on a nonstop mission. I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of next week, on like the 10th to the 12th, somewhere in that kind of time frame, if you were back up at like 0.006. So from the current price, 50% pump next week or something like that might be coming your way. I could see it happening, absolutely. Certainly, if not by the end of next week, then the following week. But by the end of the month, guys, we're looking at Zebec being all the way up above its current all-time highs and possibly pressing 2 cents or more. Right? We're looking for a movement that's more or less just explosive like this in nature. And 2 cents would be the minimum target. 4.5 cents would be the maximum target. And the thing is, maybe you hit your maximum target, but just not at the end of October. Maybe you stop at 2 cents by the end of October, you consolidate, and then you continue to rally going into November, December. And you go to even higher prices than imagined. You know, we were talking about this yesterday on the live stream, how Zebec, you know, most of its life it's been accumulating. It's been in a long accumulative phase. We know it's accumulating because, boom, right, massive movement up. If it was distributive, you would have, you know, boom, sold off. And now that you've got this kind of consolidation phase going on, I would expect you to move up at a similar rate to what you saw here, okay? And the thought here that we were talking about in the live stream was that you know, back at these lows, moving up here, we were thinking that you would stop somewhere around 2 to 4.5 cents. But the fact that you've consolidated longer only allows you to grow more, right? This move might be even bigger than we originally expected. And I'm not saying that you should hold your breath over 6 to 8 cents being a price target, but it's something maybe you should consider, whereas before we weren't considering it as much. Inevitably, you're going to get there. I don't care how long. Inevitably, you're going to get there and beyond. Inevitably, we're going to go to sizably larger targets than just 4.5 cents, right? That's the cherry on top right now, but inevitably we'll go past that as the cycle develops more. But at the moment, you know, where we've been generally talking about 4.5 cents to a 2 cent price target, I think it is completely appropriate to talk about this, mainly because we've been consolidating for so long. And again, the idea here is that we're going to go through a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 legged pattern. And if that's the case, the third leg is typically bigger than the first leg. Typically, the third leg is the biggest leg. If we're starting it this week, assumedly, I mean, the 2618, that makes you just a little bit bigger than wave 1, which, fine, cool. That meets the standard, I suppose. But why not be a lot bigger? Why not be a sizable bit bigger? I don't know. Maybe 6.1 to 7.96 cents. Maybe this area is a little bit more considerable than we had originally thought. That's just the thought that we were getting out in yesterday's live stream, and I'm sharing that now in case you missed it. And we've been kind of hinting at that too over the past week or two, I want to say. 2 cents still very important to focus. Don't forget, right? I know we're slobbering at the mouth with these targets, but it's very possible, and it's okay if ZBCN stops at 2 cents. It is not broken. I promise you that if by the end of the year we see a 4x to a 5x, that's not a problem, okay? If it's by the end of October that we see a 4x to a 5x, that's not a problem. But any more than that is definitely what I would be expecting. And by the end of the year, absolutely by the end of the year, I would think that we're above 4.5 cents. By the end of the year, I think we're at 6 cents, 7 cents, or beyond. Absolutely beyond. And then as we continue on through the cycle, we have dramatically higher targets than that in mind. But just looking at this in that sense, coming back to the daily time frame, you know, the daily RSI is neutral, shifting upwards, right? Stochastics look bullish, as if they would promote more growth over the coming weeks, really throughout going into like the halfway point of this month and even beyond. Because typically with the stochastics, you don't look for this, where you get in and then out immediately. You look for this kind of behavior, where it's continued. So if we go at this trajectory, right, because typically you do just kind of move at that constant trajectory up, whatever you set the pace for. So I would assume somewhere by the middle of the month, the 10th of the month, something like that. Hey, 10th, 12th, we were saying that earlier, you'll be up in the overbought zone. I would assume from that point on, you continue to rally through the rest of the month, right? And then maybe you consolidate going into the end, whatever, beginning of November, and then we continue to rally going into the middle of November and onward. But I do think that we're going to have a very good October. I do believe that it starts, more or less it started back on the 28th of September. But it'll really start. You'll see what I mean. Next week, I think, is going to be very exciting. I don't think I have anything else that I want to say. Let's look at the ribbons real quick, and then we'll wrap this video up, okay? 3-day ribbon looks good. You bounced right off the lowest part of that ribbon. That's pretty awesome. Daily ribbon is disrespected. It's nice that you're closing above it, but it's very disrespected. You can see here. I mean, it's really just been disrespected throughout this range, so I don't really weigh on that too much. Weekly ribbon looks great. You're doing exactly what you should be doing. Do we have enough on the monthly? No, we don't even have. We don't even have enough for one monthly time frame. Really? Wow. Wow. You haven't even been around for 20 months. You got to be like 19 though. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 17, 18. You're on the 19th month right now. You'll get your first monthly ribbon soon. Can we do another one then? Instead of a weekly time frame, let's do a 2-week time frame. Let's just see. No, we don't need to do that because you're bullish, so it won't matter. It won't matter at all. Anyways, I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all. Expecting big things from ZBCN. If we go below 0.004 between the end of today and tomorrow, who cares? It's a better opportunity to buy. Don't hold your breath over that opportunity. We're going to rip very, very, very soon. All right, bye-bye.